Well, hello, welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and welcome back to episode number 31 of the Jesus Enrique Rosas show. Today we have a lot to cover on this Friday. Let me see what we have here. A lot of stuff going on in my live chat. A couple of things that I had to fix at last minute. Just give me 3 seconds of silence. So I fix my audio. Maybe some of you that heard my first words have your ears ringing right now. Let me make sure that everything in today's show is ready. I got a couple of clips here that still need captions. You know what? I'm going to make sure that everything is ready. We're going to be talking about Biden, who is bragging that he has done a great job. He's complaining about where are you getting your news from, and now you're getting your news from Jesus Enrique Rosas. Alec Baldwin also was unhinged, and a bit of immigration. You know that immigration is one of my favorite topics. We have some issues, we have some solutions, we have some updates on what's going on. Let me see that I got all this sort out. And remember that I will be keeping an eye on your comments as much as possible. If you see something, say something, write that in the chat, and I will be there commenting on your comments. We can do that, right? Comment on your comments. Is it possible? Something that you can do. This actually can do that. So let's start. Where can we start? Well, let's start with this absolute banger. I wouldn't say that I predicted this, but in many ways, what is this mess? What is this mess in my screen? It's so messy. Again, it's so much happening. Breaking: United States Representative Democrat Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is considering making a run for president in 2028. I said that we were talking about this yesterday about who would be who would be in the short list of Democrat candidates for 2028. I thought that Josh Shapiro is one of my. He is my first pick, essentially. Gavin Newsom is going to be there. You can bet that somebody is going to. I hope that California gets taken care of properly. And I mentioned AOC. The body language guy, Jesus Enrique Rosas, myself, I endorse Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's got my endorsement. I'm sure that she's going to do a great job getting any Republican candidate elected. So she has my endorsement in that regard, and I'm sure that if she makes it, well, I mean as a candidate, not as the president of the United States, then everything will be okay. So yeah, I'm up for AOC, and we need to address the good news. But it sometimes seems that the woke parasitic mind virus is advancing, is still going strong. We have all these companies that still want to go DEI after the fact. I've got a couple comments about some, let's say, some of these struggles at Disney. Some of you like to follow Disney for a number of reasons, not precisely for the content, but for the drama inside. It's ever since the Bob Chapek firing at the middle of the night. Maybe we can talk about Disney, but we've got things like this, courtesy of Lips of a Blue Sky. Walmart has censored some search terms on their website. The tide is turning. Woke is dying. And it seems that you look for the word transgender, okay, in the Walmart search bar, and you get nothing. There were no search results for transgender. You get no search results. But when you look for trans pride, then some products appear. So it seems that they, at least Walmart, we have another news over there. We got a news. This other news, it could be related, thanks to Robbie Starbuck. I know that many of you already follow Robbie Starbuck on X. Do you follow me on X? We got my X account. Today we are streaming on Rumble. I don't know what happened yesterday. I did exactly the same, but I don't know. Maybe it was a glitch. But I'm glad that we are streaming through YouTube on the Jesus Enrique Rosas channel, on X, Kinesics, and on Rumble on the Jesus Enrique Rosas channel. 3 channels. And Robbie Starbuck, gotta love how they call me an extremist when they are the ones who support child sex changes. And what happened? Walmart, again, rolls back DEI and pride funding after direct pressure from far-right extremists. This is the world healing. They can call us whatever they want. It would be the Latino far-right extremist. I've been called that and more back in Venezuela by the Venezuelan government. So it's something that is part of the job. So part of my job description. If I still had a proper LinkedIn account, which I don't really check much anymore, that would say Latino far-right extremist. Paid for if you want. You know that everybody that has antagonized me has claimed that I maybe the Sausage Squad says that the monarchy, the British monarchy, pays my my bills, sends me a check. I haven't seen the first check from Catherine yet, and I was called a Russian asset when my Kamala Harris videos just exploded on YouTube. So, he must be some kind of combined Russian Mossad agent. I don't know. With all these claims, I just try to go with common sense, and common sense seems to be getting the upper hand, at least in the United States. Brittany Hugo Boom. Target has signs that say Merry Christmas instead of Happy Holidays. The golden era has begun. This is important. And here die. This is a good one. This is a good one, Patrick D. Here die sales will plummet. Here die sales will plummet. Oh, let's see. Some of you say that Target is actually doubling down and with gender stuff. Well, let's see. This is gonna be something progressive, but it is undoubtedly that Donald Trump winning has sent these ripples all over the world in all these aspects. And one thing that I didn't have an image today for that, but I can mention. I was listening to Nerdrotic. Gary from Nerdrotics, he was speaking with his Friday Night Tights. Today is Friday Night Tights, by the way. It's a live show. And they were saying something really, Ryan Kino as well. They were saying something that made a lot of sense. You know that Marvel is making this movie, Captain America, I think it's Brave New World. I don't remember. They have changed the name of the movie so many times that I don't remember what was the last title of the movie. But it's like, I don't know if it's like 1 month before they are about to release that movie, and they call for urgent reshoots. And it like the latest test screenings were so bad. I don't understand how they have made like 3 or 4 movies by this point. I don't know if you follow pop culture and Disney and Marvel. I do. I like that topic a lot. I don't watch the movies. I like the drama. And the budget of the movie, the budget of the movie Captain America with the it's gonna be with this as they call him, Captain African American. The budget is almost $400 million. But if you remember how budgets work, then you have to add $400 million more for marketing. And that would essentially cost $800 million. If ticket sales at the cinemas, you only get half of tickets, so the movie will have to gross $1.6 billion just to break even. Not to make a profit, just to break even. $1.6 billion. That's not going to happen. That's never going to happen. But I'm telling you this because my idea is, and I think Gary's idea was as well, and this he was suggesting it, that maybe because Trump won and the narrative of the world changed overnight, then maybe they had this narrative in the movie and they realized, okay, there are a lot of people. There was this huge chunk of people in the United States that were with Trump. Then the movie, whatever was the message, was going to bomb. Maybe the message was to anti-Trump. Okay, it could have been like a Wonder Woman 1984. You remember that character from Pedro Pascal, who somehow is everywhere in Hollywood these days, and it was cartoonish mocking of Donald Trump. I think that they decided to change everything at the last minute in this Captain America movie, but it's wonderful to watch. Again, this is the kind of things that happen with this live videos. Everything is connected. I always tell you, everything is a system. Everything is connected. It's interconnected. That happened the other day where I talk about the Democrats, the Duchess, and Disney at the same time. And we also have Apple today. I'm stunned. This is Benny Johnson was stunned. Apple just released the single greatest pro-parenting ad in the history of American advertising. The pro-family cultural revolution is here. Watch and try not to cry. I don't know if I can play this. This is just like 2 minutes. Maybe we can watch it. I'm going to play it anyway, because any ad that is pro-family is worth watching, especially nowadays, in which it's so hard, especially to have an ad in which they cherish the family. Let's watch it, because why not? Let's take a look, see what it's all about, so you can find out that Apple of all companies is promoting family values. Let's watch this.
Got it last week. I think I know what it is. Are you serious? Oh, guys, thank you. The color that you wanted. How did you know this is going to be? Dad said this is the one that came to the eyeglass the other day in the store.
The sound is like that because he is reminiscing.
John, listen.
Light the fire. You place the flowers in the vase that you bought today.
He's so excited. Here you go. Haley.
Happy birthday.
That's so cool.
Look at the picture of me and you, Daddy. Look at the moon. Daddy, tickle me. I am a robot. What is that?
See ya.
Everything is easy 'cause of
I love you, Papa.
you.
Okay, that was right in the fields. It was right in the fields. I haven't watched the ad. I thought it was because he was reminiscing. That was the audio was that way. Okay, that was right in the fields. So awesome. Thank you, TNT Cycles PDX. I hadn't watched the ad itself. As I'm telling you, most of the time I just see what's trending and I just add it here and just watch it with you for the first time. I hadn't realized that the ad was about, well, of course, about an Apple product. But it's interesting that they frame the Apple product to hear the sounds of his daughter. Like it puts the sounds of the family so front and center. Yeah, it's so who's cutting onions in here? Those ninjas cutting onions. Those ninjas cutting onions. And there was another ad that I wanted to mention. They got rid of pride displays, changed Happy Holidays to Merry Christmas, and have a new MAGA Chad Santa. Has Target gone unwoke? And this is Target's turn. Let me see if I can rise the volume of this and get rid of the TikTok at the end. It's usually we don't need this. All right, we can play it. The sound looks a bit low. Okay, that's nice. I like it. Quite American.
And whatever comes our way, born to be wild.
Okay, that was cool. That was cool. Yeah, it's like you see that there's this kind of switching or turning of the tide. Yeah, the word is turning of the tide, thanks to, well, all of a sudden, it is like all these people that had this how to say this, all these polls about Kamala Harris had it wrong, or they knew. We have seen these reports from Kamala's camp themselves that they knew that since 1 month before the elections that no, she was not going to win. That was not going to happen. Let me leave the Chad Santa in the frame. She was not going to win, and maybe Target was doing their own polling and Apple was doing their own polling, and they realized, okay, this is going to happen. Maybe Disney forgot to do the polling, and they really believed that Kamala was going to win. But, well, with almost $1.5 billion dollars behind her, all the mainstream media, so many billionaires backing her, all the Nobel Prize earners or winners behind her, all the scientists behind her, all this apparatus behind her. How couldn't she win? Well, she couldn't. And you remember the celebrities just like Harrison Ford. I wanted to mention this briefly. I really don't want to mention Harrison Ford anymore. I think that he doesn't want us to mention him, but we need to address this. He was saying, stop giving power to people who don't believe in science, or worse than that, pretend they don't believe in climate change for their own self-interest. Harrison Ford, there's no time to wait, but at the same time, he travels on an 18 or 19 million private jet. He travels on a 19 million private jet. Yeah, the climate change is for you, not for me. Thanks, Chris Martz, for pointing this out. Harrison Ford is an actor. Just like he pretends to be Indiana Jones in the movie franchise. Let's also remember that there were only 3 Indiana Jones movies. He also pretends to be a climate activist who doesn't want to give power to people who don't believe in science. When he gives up his 18.8 million private jet, I might take his words seriously. And I had this. Okay, this is the moment in which everybody has the benefit of hindsight. Everybody knew why Kamala wasn't going to win. Everybody realized that this was not going to work, but somehow they still wanted people to pour their hard-earned money on her campaign and they're still asking for money to fight, combat, whatever is, I don't know, they are standing for. And Kamala campaign chair slams BS narrative. Jen O'Malley Dillon blasted claims that Kamala avoided interviews as complete BS. She explained on Pod Save America, one of these podcasts, which is left-leaning, or I wouldn't say extreme left. I really haven't seen that podcast. The campaign focused on podcasts and target audiences with what? Let's hear it from herself.
Say, I mean, look, I am not media hater by any measure.
What is a media hater, and what kind of media are we talking about? Because you know that we are the media now, and if I am the media now, and if I'm a right-winger, I'm just like right-winger Latino, then you might disagree with my point of view. Like this MAGA Latinos could be triggering for some audiences.
And I think that, we women don't get far in life talking about double standards, so that's not the point. But I do think a narrative, 107 days, 2 weeks fucked up because of a hurricane, 2 weeks talking about how she didn't do interviews, which, she was doing plenty, but we were doing in our own way. We had to, be the nominee, had to find a running mate and do a rollout. I mean, there was all these things that you kind of want to factor in.
Well, I have to agree. I analyzed my fair share of Kamala Harris interviews. That was real. But we are talking about podcasts. That this is the key of the situation here.
But real people heard in some way that we were not going to have interviews, which was both not true and also so counter to any kind of standard that was put on Trump that I think that was a problem. And then on top of that, we would do an interview, and to Stephanie's point, the questions were small and processy and about like
Dumb.
Okay, yeah, some questions were dumb. They're saying that some questions were dumb in those interviews, but do they have the self-awareness to realize that even Katie Couric, like 1 week ago, she said herself on camera that she was expecting Kamala to answer the goddamn question every single time. Can't you answer the question? This brilliant lady here who was a strategist for Kamala, she should have realized that even if those interviews had dumb questions, her boss couldn't answer any single one of them in a proper way. So it was not a matter of going in more interviews. In fact, at some point, I told you, I reached out to Scott Adams and asked him, hey, I want to help. How can I help? How can I, point out the flaws in Kamala's campaign if she's got no policies on her website? She spent like 1 month and a half without policies on her website. She was not making any sort of interviews. And he said, well, that is the smartest thing that she can do by now, because if you don't have policies and if you don't do interviews and if you don't do press conferences, then nobody can attack you because there's nothing to attack. And that, so far, is clever. But since her numbers were going down, she had to come out and do all this sort of interviews. And the first one was the CNN with Dana Bash. Remember that Tim Walz was right behind her. She spoke for 18 minutes. 18 minutes, and that was the worst. Somebody must have thought, all right, maybe this was the first interview. Maybe she was not that prepared. Maybe she has to rehearse a bit more. But it was worse and worse until the Fox News interview with Brett Baier that literally buried her. And I know that she needed like 1 day to recover from that one, because that destroyed her. So they want to, rationalize that, oh no, we're actually doing interviews. Yes, after you saw the numbers go down. But when she began to do the interviews, you saw a nosedive in the numbers so bad that Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, and even Hillary had to come out and talk in behalf of Kamala, and you know how it went, because none of them wanted Kamala. Even Bill Clinton had that slip of the man saying that Kamala's if the border had been taken care of properly, then Lincoln Riley would be alive. He said that it was a mess. It was a mess of epic proportions. This was I'm not gonna lie to you. I acknowledge the fact that I told you at some point that this could be a close election. It was a close election, and as Konstantin Kisin said, this can be a close contest, and at the same time be a landslide because of the electoral college system. And you saw that Kamala had 74 million votes, so it was close enough. It was scary enough. You have to be, but the winner takes it all system made sure that Donald Trump won by a landslide, including all 7 swing states. So we move forward with this.
Dumb.
They were not informing a voter who was trying to listen to learn more or to understand. And I'm not here to say that
No, I need to replay this. This is too good.
Understand. And I'm not trying to listen.
No.
They were not informing a voter who was trying to listen to learn more or to understand. And
okay, she's blaming the questions. Like the questions were not informative to the voter. The questions of those interviews were dumb. Oh, the questions were dumb. So that's why the interviews did not work. Girl, how can I tell you this in a gentlemanly way? If the question is dumb, which a question can be dumb, of course, and you have 1 minute to answer the questions or 2 minutes to answer the question, then you turn the dumb question into something to your advantage. Okay, you say the things that is gonna resonate with your audience, with your people, with your fan base, however you want to call it. You do it. You command the conversation. It's just like you're blaming the interviewers because they were asking dumb questions. So that's why the interviews did not. That is okay. That is avoiding. What is the word? Accountability. It is impressive the way that this lady is avoiding accountability, not only for herself, but for her boss, Kamala Harris. Oh, it was not Kamala Harris' fault that the questions were dumb and those questions were not informing the voters. No, the questions, the interviewers, that's not their job to inform the voters. It is the candidate's job. And Kamala, of course, was drunk half of the time and clueless the other half. And maybe sometimes you know that she likes Venn diagrams so much. Maybe sometimes she was drunk and clueless simultaneously. So how could she do this? Nobody could have done this. Even those moments in when she was with Katie Couric and when she was with Oprah Winfrey as well, those were scripted. They had these very limited questions. These are the questions that you have to answer. No other questions. We are not accepting other questions than this, picked up beforehand so she can rehearse that. And not even that way. Not even it's all this is to try to expose the level of. I need to highlight this mini Karen. I need to highlight mini Karen. All this is to try to dissect how somebody can be so. My guess is that she's delusional. What is her name again? Let me go back to see what is her name. Her name is Jen O'Malley. O'Malley is like the Aristocats. Remember that movie? I love that movie, by the way. See, Jen O'Malley. Jen O'Malley is so, let's say, clueless. It's not like, it's like she wants to justify her loss. I guess that she wants to be hired again, but who's going to hire her when it was her job to say that things were going wrong, that this was not working, that they had to do something else, that Kamala had to go on podcasts. But they were afraid, because if Kamala couldn't handle a 15 to 18 to 20-minute interview, although to be fair, Kamala went on to call her daddy, that didn't do anything, that didn't do any numbers. Nobody was interested in that, in the topics. She went on to Club Shay Shay. She spoke with this guy for 1 hour. That didn't move the needle. I didn't even analyze those podcasts, but because they were so boring, she didn't say anything at all. It was nothing of interest in there. She basically was talking about herself. Okay, it's nice that we get to know about you, but this is about being the president. What are your policies? What is your proposal? You have to talk about that. You have to address those questions. No. I'm not going to do this. So this mini Karen is trying to get hired again. Maybe she, now that we talk about LinkedIn, maybe she is expecting LinkedIn to be looking for a job right now. Because it's not like she's helping with the recollection of more money from the Kamala Harris campaign.
They were not informing a voter who was trying to listen to learn more or to understand. And I'm not here to say that the whole system was focused on us incorrectly. I'm just saying, like, again, of the things we need to explore as we move forward as a campaign and as a country, that does a disservice to voters. And, I think back and think we should have signaled more of our strategy early on about podcasts and who we were trying to reach. And
yes, it was so easy to be on the Joe Rogan podcast. But if Kamala couldn't handle 20 minutes of an interview, then how could she talk for more than 2 hours with Joe Rogan? And if you have watched Joe Rogan's podcasts, it's just a conversation. It's nothing more. He just asks questions. It's that simple. And when there's something that doesn't, there's a contradiction, then he asks his helper Jamie to brought up some facts straight from the internet to confront, sometimes very lightly. It's just to let's clear things up. He is never confrontational. I have never seen Joe Rogan confrontational, so it was quite easy. In fact, she just had to go on there. She refused. Everybody refused, because they knew that was going to break her brain like 30 minutes in. Nobody believed that Kamala Harris could have resisted more than 30 minutes with Joe Rogan.
But we had a limited amount of time to reach the people we were trying to reach, and we were trying to go to them. But being up against a narrative that we weren't doing anything, or we were afraid to have interviews.
What is now I'm just realizing in this exact moment, we're watching this Jen O'Malley work for Kamala Harris speak about the topic of the campaign, Pod Save America. You can find them on YouTube. I think they have like 700,000 subscribers. That's a very strong fan base. Why didn't Kamala Harris go onto this podcast? It's just like 45 minutes, 40 minutes. Just go on here, go for that, and go on a podcast, or better yet, asks these guys to come over to wherever Kamala is, set the bare minimum. You don't have to spend $100,000 like call her daddy to set up a hotel room for an interview. No, come over to wherever Kamala is, guerrilla style, the style that I like, and interview her. And that is another podcast. Ask these podcasters. There are podcasters. This is the most ironic thing. This mini Karen is defending Kamala not going on podcasts. In a podcast that I don't have the knowledge if they requested to have Kamala, but I'm sure that Kamala declined. I mean, this is the level of insanity that we are talking about. This is level of being absolutely clueless about all the process. This is literally drinking your own Kool-Aid. Drinking your own Kool-Aid. You thought that denying reality, if you just covered your eyes and you said, okay, Kamala is gonna win, Kamala's gonna win, you begin to, bump in your red shoes, and you really thought that way, denying reality, Kamala was going to win. And that is the problem with the left side of this equation. I have to call them this way, libtards. They don't realize they are wrong. They really think they are clever. They have all their degrees from these universities. They have all this experience. They have all these ideas that they don't realize that is not the real world. This is not the real world anymore. And big shout out to Baron Trump, who had the idea to tell his father to go on all these podcasts and go all out, starting with Aiden Ross. And yes, this is why I tell you that if Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez is, one of the strongest candidates, and they have this attitude, okay, they have this attitude of, we always knew what was going to happen. We know we were right. The ones who were asking the questions were wrong, and that's what was. They are going to lose again. I am not complaining. I am not giving them any ideas, because I'm sure that even if I gave them the idea, since I am a right-wing Latino, then they are going to reject. Oh, you are uneducated. You are uneducated, and we're gonna be talking about the uneducated right now.
Is completely bullshit. And
oh, this is great. A great comment from Veronica Olson. They have degrees, but they believe a man can get pregnant. Yes, and they don't know, have no idea what a woman is. That tells you all you need to do. That is savage. I should have some kind of shirt that says that. They have degrees, but they believe men can get pregnant. Okay, I need to highlight this somewhere.
Pulled a little bit, and we just gave us another thing we had to fight back for that Trump never had to worry about.
Yeah, no. Trump worried about going on those podcasts, but you didn't have the self-awareness. Before we talk about Alec Baldwin and that uneducated people, that somehow it's like a talking point. The good thing is that whoever celebrity speaks against Trump right now and on behalf of Kamala Harris right now, you have the certainty that they are not being paid for. So Sharon Stone is really unhinged. Alec Baldwin is really unhinged. They are at film festivals and they begin to talk about against Trump. It's something that is baffling. I don't know what does it have to do with a film festival. But first we need to talk about Biden. And he has some ideas. This is part of today's main topic. Thanks to Western Lensman for this. Rambling Joe Biden tells the propaganda press they have done a hell of a job and laments that fewer and fewer Americans are consuming legacy media. I wonder why. No, I don't wonder. I've told you before. It is a matter of credibility. You lack credibility. You lie to your audience over and over again. Your audience has other options. Not Facebook, of course. They have X or they have Rumble. And sometimes they have YouTube as well. And they realize that they are being lied to. And sometimes even the mainstream media exposes themselves. because they realize that they cannot afford to be this echo chamber because they are losing their audience and a ton of money. And if RFK Jr. does the big pharma ad apocalypse thing, like removes the big pharma ads from broadcasting media and cable, well, that is going to be a bloodbath. That is going to be the end of legacy media as we know it right now. Now you have to deal with the exceedingly small number of people watching mainstream television and reading the newspapers. They are watching X. They are here. They are with communities, the communities that you need to build on authenticity. Where do you get your news? How do you know you're not just getting what you're looking for? Americans are looking for the truth. Yeah, the truth, not my truth or your truth or our truth, the truth. Free from corporate media gatekeepers, Joe, and that's exactly why legacy media is dying. But let's hear it from the man himself.
My message is to just remember who we are. Look, you all have a very tough job, and I'm not being solicitous. A really tough job. Think about it. I remember a couple weeks ago the survey done, how do people feel about where they are? It was 62%, 35% thought they were doing pretty well. What do they think about the direction of the country? 35%, only 35% or so.
He's just rambling. He's just rambling. I think I can read this myself. I'll take it from here, Joe. I will read your words. Moving in the right direction. Because the sound is horrible. I think there's an explanation for that. Think about it. It's not a criticism of the press. Yes, it is. And I mean it, and I know me too well. Is that you turn on the television, and what happens? You don't see a lot of good news. Yeah, you don't see a lot of good news because your government sucks, Joe. That's why we don't see a lot of good news. You are pushing the world into the brink of World War III. You are trying to rush every single illegal immigrant that you can into the United States that Trump already blocked thanks to that call to Mexico's president. And you say that you wonder why people turn on the TV and watch and see bad news? You are the bad news, Joe. You have to go. You and your kin have to go. All of you. The swamp has to be drained up to the bottom. Even the stuff that is good news doesn't seem to sell very well. Well, good news, let's say that the good news that we have this new awakening of people, that people are dropping the woke mind virus. Those are sweet good news. So you turn on TV and everything looks bad. Yeah, it's like we are looking. It's like we are looking at you, Joe, and you look bad because of the signal, and it's double bad. We are looking at Joe Biden, which is bad in itself, and the signal is bad. So it's like different levels of bad. It's a bit of a coincidence, right? It's ironic that it's happened at this point. Everything, and now you have, I forget what the number is, but an exceedingly small number of people watching mainstream television and reading the newspapers. Yeah, because all of them suck, because all what they do is to kiss the arse of the people who pay for them. And that is not journalism. That is not journalism anymore. Forget the number. You know better than I would. Yeah, you are clueless about everything, Joe. Go home. Yeah, just retire already. Just retire already, but stop pushing the world into World War III. And they're way down. So where do you get your news? On X. Yeah, on X. I get all my news on X. I could say that I'm addicted to X. I have a complete and utter addiction to X. I don't know how to explain it in any other way. How do you know what you're getting is not just what you're looking for? Because 2 words, Joe. 2 words. 2 very important words. Critical thinking. Critical thinking means that you hear something on TV or from a YouTuber or a podcaster, and you say, okay, I have this piece of information, and this piece of information, you contrast it with another source, and you see that there are inconsistencies, and you say, okay, this doesn't match. This doesn't make sense. So one of them could have it wrong, or maybe both of them have it wrong. So you go for another source, and you make sure that if you see, for example, a video that looks AI, then you try to go for this. That's what YouTube is good for, because you can go to the Joe Biden official channel or the Kamala Harris official channel, and you see it for yourself. Okay, we can hear the words spoken by them and see what they actually said. And I'm being fair, because sometimes, yeah, Biden's words get taken out of context. I don't like that. And Kamala Harris' words gets taken out of context. That happened these days. That happens with happened to me with this clip of Rachel Ziegler that was from 2023, and people on X were trying to pass it as if it was an apology for what she said about Trump voters, and it was not true, because the video was old. I made the mistake to just retweet that without checking when was that video taken, and if the video was actually meant to be an apology, and I deleted the tweet. That's something that can happen, of course. But you have a responsibility, if you have a platform, to try to go to the source, to try to confirm things. And if you're watching, if you're interested in your country and the well-being of your family and your friends and yourself, you have the duty to, well, exercise your critical thinking. But it's so easier to outsource your thinking to a pundit, to a YouTuber, to CNN, to MSNBC. I don't want to think. Tell me what to think, because you know what? Thinking implies two things. The first one, it is hard. I'm not gonna lie, thinking is hard. You have to, it's like a muscle. You have to train it. And two, thinking implies that you're responsible of the ideas that you come up with. Okay, I have the idea. I think that I have understood it this way. I realized that the fine people thing was a hoax, that Trump never said that white supremacists were very fine people. But now I'm responsible of that idea, that I realized that of that truth. So whenever somebody mentions that at my job or at a family gathering, I'm going to maybe say that, hey, have you watched this or that? You have the responsibility. You have to exercise that responsibility. You are responsible. And people don't want responsibilities. People elude responsibilities. And the more you elude responsibilities, this is where we end up. And by where, what do I mean? We end up with this stuff, with the woke parasitic mind virus. Because if you don't want to think, and you don't want to be responsible of what you think and your ideas, then somebody will inject their ideas into you. So you become an NPC, non-player character. You become a zombie, essentially a zombie who is nobody. So Joe, I'm tired of you. Everybody's tired of you. The whole world is tired of you. I can't believe that some Venezuelans, I can't believe that some Venezuelans supported Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Don't get me started. I would talk like 4 hours about that, but it's not. That is not something that I want to do. That is not something I want. I'm seeing some comments in here. Let me see. Samantha, he's got air tags in his pocket. Yeah. That would be a great Apple ad. That would be a great Apple ad. Man. Air tags, you know, there's the things. I don't know if I have an air tag with me here. There's the things from Apple that you use to track things. And you can use air tags to track people if you want to make sure that you track where someone is, a loved one, you don't lose track of them. I was just brilliant. You. Dr. Jill absolutely must have an air tag on Joe just in case she loses him. She loses him and she begins to look for him with her iPhone. That would be a great Apple ad. Maybe, yeah, that is about a family as well. You can track your family. And Joe's family can track him. Oh, that's a great idea, Samantha. That was a good one. Forget the number, you know better what it would. And then the way down, we don't care. Where you get the news? I'm not being critical of the press. Yeah, because the press works for you. So if the press works for you and you are critical of the press, then that arrangement is not working. And I've talked to too many of you privately. I don't want to know what means that Joe Biden talks to you privately. I have seen him sniffing people, so I don't know if the talking privately implies that he's gonna sniff you. But how many of those journalists has Joe Biden sniffed? That's worth a book. You've got a hell of a job. I mean, you know, anyway, this is worse than a Kamala. This is worse than a Kamala thing. Let's talk about the other blockhead of today. How are we? We are closing in 1 hour. Alec Baldwin. Let's talk about Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin in Italy. After Trump's victory, half the people in the country are very unhappy. It's a very difficult time. Americans are really uninformed about reality. What's really going on with climate change, Ukraine, you name it. Why they cannot sell abortion anymore. You know, if you are a woman, you say abortion. If you're a man, you say climate change, Ukraine. It's the same all over again, over and over again. Let's hear it from the guy himself. We have like sets of, let me see if we can, okay. I'm going to try to this because there are also like Italian subtitles. And I don't want the Italian subtitles to just mess with the English subtitles. I think this is going to be nice. In my country. What do you say about your country, Alec? What do you say about your country? I loved you in Glengarry, Glen Ross. I always tell you that. I always watch Alec Baldwin's monologue from Glengarry, Glen Ross at least once a month. Someday I will do that impersonation. Once a month, like clockwork, I watch that monologue and I say, yes, let's do this. Always be closing. What happened to that, Alec? What happened? Now it's always be complaining.
In my country, without going into significant detail, half the people in the country are happy and half the people in the country are very unhappy. It's a very difficult time in the United States. And I think the only way people can learn what is happening, and film is unique in this way, not only what's happening in the United States.
No. We don't want films to tell us what's happening. Okay, maybe that is what documentaries are for. You can have documentaries that are very good documentaries that are worth it. And documentaries are important because they tell you something that is happening. Of course, there's always biases. You have to get your information from many sources, but documentaries are one thing. But film is so much more than documentaries. I don't want to go to the cinema to know about what's going in the world. to be pandered about something that's going on in the world. I think that's the reason why those last second reshoots of Captain America Brave New World, or whatever the name is, that they were pandering. They were going to say something about, we won against Trump, and then they have to reshoot that. We don't want that. We want escapism. We want escapism. You were also great in The Shadow, Alec. Alec had great moments as an actor. I mean, not precisely when he was pointing guns at people. Those we can skip those. But yes, Alec had great moments as an actor, and I'm sure that he knows the term is escapism. That we need to sit down for 2 hours and not think about reality. We want to disconnect from reality. So I don't know, why are you bringing this into a film festival? I don't know if the Torino Film Festival is only about documentaries. I doubt it. I don't think that there must be festivals like that, but I don't think the Torino Film Festival is like that. But how can I put this way? It's so sad, and I'm gonna say it. It's so sad that so many people that have brought us so many great moments in film and entertainment have tarnished their legacy going against common sense. I mean, they have the right to say whatever they want, but the problem is that what they say is like they are the ones who are delusional. And something that is like the upside, the silver lining of all this, I think it was the Critical Drinker who said something like this. This is the year, 2024 is the year in which we lay to rest the opinion of celebrities, in which the opinion of celebrities matters no more. Nobody will pay attention to them. And even if we realize that nobody will pay attention to them, because how many celebrities supported Kamala Harris, and how many of them, supported with payment, how many of them are completely detached from reality? And they claim, they have the gall to say that are Americans who are uneducated and are detached from reality. These are the people who are in front of a camera and are in a camera and being broadcasted into the world, and they are wrong. So it's sad. Again, I love movies. I love cinema. You know that I wanted to be an astronaut at some point. I also wanted to be a filmmaker at some point. I still have high hopes for all these AI tools that will make filmmaking so easy that everybody, as Isaac Asimov said, we will have a TV station in our homes. I have a TV station in my home right now. I realized that dream, so to speak. We will be able to make movies without all the logistics and with all the locations, without actors, without all the cast and crew. We will be able to act them, okay? We will be able to write them. We will be able to film, to light, to do all by ourselves in a laptop. How cool is that? I just have to wait like 5 or 6 years for that, and we will have all those tools at our disposal. There are tools right now. They are quite crude. We use them from memes, but anybody will be able to create a blockbuster movie, an indie movie on their laptop, 2 hours, maybe a short film, maybe a long film in their laptop. And this is what these people are fearing. They will be losing their jobs. The era, not only of the opinion of celebrities, but celebrities as a whole, is ending. It's coming to an end. The Hollywood celebrity that was so great in the 50s, in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, and even in the 90s, it's ending. It's coming to an end. They are becoming irrelevant, not only because of their political opinions, but because of their craft, because they have become preachy. Oh, we need to be preachy in and out of the set. We don't want that, Alec. We want escapism. We want stories that give us hope, that inspire us. We don't want to be pandered to. And I could be here. I could be here all day.
But around the world, what's happening, you might not learn from the news. Television news in the United States is a business.
Yeah, and it's bad business right now.
They have to make money. And again, not to go into great detail about that, but there's a hole, there's a vacuum. There is a gap, if you will, in information for Americans. Americans are very uninformed about reality, which
Oh, uninformed. I correct myself. I thought that he had said uneducated. That was Sharon Stone. Sharon Stone said that Americans are uneducated, and then 80% of Americans don't have a passport. 80% of Americans haven't traveled around the world, so they are stupid. That Sharon Stone said that, okay? I don't know what to tell you about it. Well, I already did. I made a video about that. You can find it in my channel.
really going on with climate change, Ukraine, Israel, you name it, all the biggest topics in the world. Americans have an appetite for a little bit of information.
Yeah, Americans first and foremost want to know what is going on inside their country as any other citizen of any country. Because you care about your country first and foremost, and if your country is being invaded, then you want somebody, anybody, to do something about it.
That vacuum is filled by the film industry.
Which film industry, you moron? Which film industry? Hollywood? Hollywood? Don't fuck with me, Alec. No. I have to replay that. I have to replay. This is the good part. This is the good part of not watching these videos before doing this live show. This is the good part of not. No. This is the good part of reacting live to this stuff.
Americans have an appetite for a little bit of information. That vacuum is filled by the film industry.
That vacuum is filled by the... Okay, I'm going to learn about climate change in films. No, thank you. I will not go watch your shitty film if you're going to pander about climate change. I'm not going to watch your shitty film. I'm not going to give a dime to Hollywood. I will make my own movies. I will not care. I will not care what you say or anybody says. You are on the way out. You and all the people, and I feel bad for so many actors and actresses that, well, maybe they don't care about politics, or maybe they have common sense. They are going to be affected too. AI, artificial intelligence, is going to affect every single one of us in one way or another. And you should be preparing for that impact. It is a reality. My prediction has always been AI is not going to take our jobs per se, but it's going to help every single one of us do the job of 30 people at a time. Okay, it's going to multiply. It's already multiplying our ability to do the job of 30 people at a time. So that is something that is worth thinking. But Hollywood being to fill the vacuum of information, give me a break. The vacuum in his head. Yeah, Gary, you are spot on. The vacuum in his head. That is the actual vacuum that we're talking about. And see what else he says.
Not just the independent film industry, not just the documentary film industry, which are very important around the world.
Well, maybe this is I have to look for that. Let me see. I want to correct myself live. Is the Torino Film Festival only about documentaries? I just want to find out. Perplexity. And by the way, that is another thing. We used to think that we're gonna Google that. I haven't used Google for a search in ages. I use Perplexity. The Torino Film Festival is not exclusively focused on documentaries, although documentaries do play a significant role in the festival programming. Documentaries are a crucial part of the festival. Well, there you have it. They aim to include films that explore the boundaries between fiction, video art, and experimental cinema. So there is, okay. It maintains a broad scope, celebrating various forms of cinema with a particular emphasis on youth, innovation, and experimentation. While documentaries are an important component, the festival's programming encompasses a wide range of cinematic works. So this was not just about documentaries, and certainly in documentaries can be biased, and that's the problem as well. That's something that we need to think about.
But by narrative films as well, where the filmmakers and the buyers, the studios and the networks and the streamers are willing to go that way. They're willing to try to make films that are not only entertaining, but informative as well. So I think right now is probably one of the most significant times in our history, since film began, since the film experience began. It became an art form, it became a business, a huge business. Now is probably one of the most important times in our history for us to make films that will teach people about what reality is around the world.
Yeah, well, if you are making documentaries, that makes sense. If you're making documentaries for people to escape from the reality of the world, no, we don't want any sort of pandering. We don't want that. We don't want that whatsoever. There's something I want to rest from my headphones for a minute. Let me put the chat. Let me drink some water. We need to talk about immigration. We need to talk about immigration. The show is not over yet. This is not over yet. Princess Dumbarton, you're right. People should boycott these a-holes and their movies, make them bankrupt. They are doing them themselves. They're doing a great job doing that themselves. Princess Dumbarton, rest assured of that. Rest assured of that. Gun safety. Yeah, gun safety. We could make a documentary. Oh my God, that is dark humor. That's very, very dark humor. Maybe a documentary about gun safety. Maybe a documentary about, do not let go of the hammer of a revolver. I'm not going to elaborate on that again. You never let go of the hammer. And if you can check the gun, you check the gun to make sure it doesn't have. It only takes you 5 seconds with that kind of guns. Not going to elaborate on that anymore. Already made a live stream and a full video about that. That analysis. I wanted to make it clear that he could have prevented that himself. He could have prevented that himself with just a bit of self-awareness. I have this that I wanted to show you from a while ago. Inside the New York City re-ticketing program. Let's talk about immigration right now. Some of you are not aware of what's going on in New York City and other sanctuary cities in which they give illegal immigrants virtually everything, and it's baffling. New York City re-ticketing program that gave Jose Barra, the illegal who murdered Laken Riley, a free plane ticket to fly from New York to Georgia. New York City has purchased 47,000 tickets. 47,000 tickets. Flight tickets to fly migrants across the U.S. so far. The city of New York has given for free almost 50,000 flight tickets to illegals. Tell me how much that is an absurd amount of money. Just to make clear that this investigation was made by Savannah Hernandez, and she is Sab Says on X. Make sure to follow her. And I'm going to show her, well, the beat itself is from front lines. The beat itself is on front lines. Okay, it's important to give a proper attribution because this is interesting. So let's watch this.
This is Savannah Hernandez standing in front of the St. Bridget's Reticketing Center here in New York, and I wanted to see if this program was still ongoing because this is the same program that saw Jose Ibarra, the illegal immigrant who brutally murdered Laken Riley, get a free plane ticket so he could fly from New York into Georgia. Unfortunately, this program is still ongoing, with Mayor Eric Adams even putting out in a press statement this past Monday that the city has purchased 47,000 tickets to transport migrants from New York City across the United States of.
You remember that we were talking like nicely about Eric Adams. Well, we still have to set the record straight. There's a lot to be done, and no, that guy is just trying to play it safe so he's not indicted in the end.
America.
Migrants who have been processed can receive a free one-way plane ticket to any destination they choose. I missed that. Provided they agree to leave New York City. A source agreed to show us how easy this process is. Why are they allowed into the city, or why are they allowed into shelters in the first place? It's easy. You don't have shelters for illegals. You don't accept. Oh, I forgot. New York City is a sanctuary city. It's a sanctuary city, so.
Ya me quiero ir de aquí, quiero avión.
¿O quiere avión?
Sí, quiero avión.
¿A dónde va?
Para Honolulu.
¿Dónde es eso?
Hawái.
Hawaii.
Sí.
Well, if he has a friend there.
Is you say that you I saw that it was this other guy, I forgot his name, that he does this undercover investigation, that they had someone go to a hotel that was hosting these illegals, and yes, you can say literally, I have a friend in Honolulu in Hawaii, and they fly you to Hawaii. Okay, they give you a plane ticket to go to Hawaii. How does this work?
Now, the migrant crisis is still very much alive and well here in New York, and the Department of Homeless Services is currently seeking out contracts with hotels across New York City for 14,000 rooms to house illegal immigrants in through 2025. Now, keep in mind that the city of New York has already spent $2.3 billion.
$2.3 billion. $2.3 billion. Oh, thank you. Was O'Keefe. Yeah, was O'Keefe. Forgot his name. Yeah, was O'Keefe that exposed that, made this amazing video. Maybe we can look for that video right now. We could watch that one. He must have this in his media. It should be in his media somewhere. He did the full thing that somebody went into a. Let me see if I can. If I look for. New York City. I want to look for that because the two videos together are really enlightening. I thought that I had it somewhere. I lost track. I have such a mess in my bookmarks. But let's keep watching this one. Let's keep watching this one because it's the same principle. You are an illegal immigrant. You're an illegal immigrant, and you arrive at New York City. You just go to any hotel that can hosts illegal, which are plenty, by the way. Again, we're talking about 2.3 billion with a B, 2.3 billion. James O'Keefe. All right. Yeah, I forgot. James O'Keefe. You can go to any of these shelters and either just stay there. You get food, you get a mobile phone, you get a SIM card, you get money, you get a debit card, you get a plane ticket to anywhere. And we're talking about $2.3 billion. Where does that money come from? From taxpayers. Taxpayers are paying for people who arrive to commit the crime, to arrive illegally into the country, arrive at New York City. How did they arrive into New York City? Well, it's anyone's guess. And then you get all this. Thanks to taxpayers in the city.
Around 6 million in total to feed them, using programs such as that food voucher program that Mayor Eric Adams just ended. That saw a contract of around $53 million, and with that program, migrants were given those prepaid debit cards so they could buy food. Eric Adams saying that program is ending, but we are still seeing millions spent on getting transportation and tickets for migrants to travel throughout the United States of America, and then also those hotel rooms so they can still be sheltered.
Why do this? Roosevelt Hotel in New York, says Nelson Alvarez. No immigrants have ever received all this free stuff. No. At all. Yeah, I need to copy as soon as I see it. Yeah, I see the stuff. I put that on my bookmarks, but sometimes I remember videos. That video was from a while ago, but maybe at some point I can find it. Maybe I can find that video later after we watch this.
Now, if we want to take a peek at how many migrants have made their way to New York since 2022, the number is just under 250,000 at this point. At its peak, we were seeing around 4,000 illegal immigrants make their way to New York every single week, and it's now down to around 600. But we even spoke to migrants who were talking to us about how they just arrived in New York City. So giving you guys an idea of where the city is currently at. Unfortunately, you still have programs like this one, which have seen murderers transported throughout the United States of America to hurt other Americans, still ongoing here in New York. By the way, millions of dollars in taxpayer funding has been spent on this program. And if I were to give you guys as well just an overlook of what the United States looks like right now in terms of our migration problem, we still have 1,500 migrants coming in daily under the Biden-Harris CBP One app, and also 30,000 being flown in every single month under the CHNV program.
So we know that this had already stopped, thanks to the fact that Trump made this call to with the Mexican president, and he said, okay, if you don't help us stop this, then we'll have these tariffs that will hurt your automotive industry, and you will be F up. So that's how Mexico is helping curb this influx of illegal migrants, and it's happening with the northern border as well. Justin Castro has also jumped into the I had a very productive call with President-elect Trump, and it's going nicely. It is going nicely. We're going to stop that as well.
That's a little bit of where the country stands as Donald Trump is set to become our 47th president come January. He has promised mass deportations and, of course, declaring that national emergency because of the migrant crisis. But an idea of what's still ongoing in New York City. If you guys don't remember this spot, I was here back in May and we were reporting on how migrants were lined up. And they typically are lined up here every single morning to get reprocessed for a new hotel or get a plane, train, or bus ticket. And this is that same location where they had up here 7 different languages, how to get a free plane ticket. They've since taken it down after I put out that initial report. But
this has to stop. There's no other way to put this. This has to stop. This has to stop indefinitely. Because this is destroying the country, destroying the most beautiful cities, because they have this kind of, we need to, and this is a video that I showed you recently. All the people that are trying to cross this looks like the Darien, they're trying to go into the United States, and this has to stop. This has to be stopped in one way or another because, no, this is not sustainable. This is not sustainable, and there's no way to justify this in any shape or form. Let me see your comments, and we are arriving. How much the time? We are arriving to the end of today's show. It was a nice show. I think that we spoke about everything that we needed to talk about. I addressed everything that I needed to address. Did I forget something? No, I think it was pretty much on point. It was a nice show today. Let me see. Some of you are. We have some extra time. Let's see if I can find that on that video. Let me put in here your comments, and let's see if I can find that video. That would be nice. I'm going to be here just. Wait, I'm looking in James O'Keefe's, maybe it's in O'Keefe Media, where I should be looking for. That would be different. So we are in borrowed time right now. Kiev Media. It should be somewhere. It was a longish video. I remember that idea to be. I think this is one. Let me see if I can. Okay, this is one. How do I? So I need to pop this up. Okay, I know how to do this. I need to show you this video. Absolutely need to show you this video. I'm going to download it. So it's 4 minutes long, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Was shared by Juanita Broderick. This clip from O'Keefe's A Line in the Sand is unbelievable. Undercover, pretending to be asylum seeker, walks into New York Roosevelt Hotel and is offered free room and taxpayer-funded flight anywhere with no ID. Going to show you this. It was worth the wait. Thanks to my lovely assistant that found this. Where? Let's see. Where I am. Make sure that everything is ready and put some kind of captions to this as well. We love captions in this show. We always need the captions. Are important to be able to read for those who have trouble with the sound. And we can watch this. It's 20 seconds for the captions and we can watch this clip. Well, you can vote without an ID. How idiotic is that? Yes. Is that one guy was saying the other day? He said that you used to need this certification, this paper that you had the shots to get food. You didn't have the shots. Let's see. Okay, then I'm gonna play this. I don't know if I can play this like that, but I'm going to, if I have any problem, sometimes, I'm going to tell you, by the way, for those of you that are regular watchers, sometimes you're watching my show, you always know that at the end of the show, you can rewatch it or you can watch it later. If you miss the show, you can watch it later. Sometimes you see that the show doesn't appear. It's because maybe have some copyright issues with YouTube, and then I have to just cut that or edit out that part so YouTube releases my live to be able to be watched at a later time. So if you don't watch today's show, if you can't find today's show, it's because maybe you had some copyright issues and you just have to wait for half an hour or so until I get them sorted out. But if you cannot find today's show afterwards, just wait half an hour. Most probably it will pop up in the list of my sequence of shows, just to point it out. Let's watch this so you can see it for yourself. In 2023,
the Pakistani government leased out the hotel for 3 years for $220 million to provide migrant accommodations and services. Now we wanted to discover what other things we could obtain by.
Okay, let's do something to reduce the odds that I will have copyright issues. I'm going to apply voice isolation. It's something nice that this does, that it removes the music. The music usually is one of the main problems with this.
By visiting the Roosevelt Hotel.
Hola. Hola. Muy bien. So I walk in, guy's like, okay, so what are you doing here? I'm like, oh, I'm looking for asylum, refugee status.
¿Tiene su documento de inmigración?
No, lo que dije al señor que perdí todo en el camino entre Texas y Nueva York. No tengo nada.
Ok, ¿tú tienes un ID?
No tengo nada.
No tienes nada.
Then he was talking to, I guess, a supervisor. Yeah, just go ahead and register him.
Yes, register.
Appreciate on the clock? Yeah. Yeah, well, okay.
Gracias.
Filled out a little sheet, gave me a wristband. He said, do you want refuge in New York? or do you want us to fly you to another state or another city?
O sea, un vuelo. Bueno, por ejemplo, si no tiene su familia hacia otro estado en el país, podemos comprar el boleto para ir a visitar a su familia.
Refugio está bien.
Sí, sí. Al momento.
And he goes, oh, well, if you have family in like another city, we'll pay for your flight. The government will pay for it.
Después, si quiero vuelo, se puede.
Sí. Sí. Nosotros van a comprar el boleto.
So in a post 9/11 America, a man who claims he is from a foreign country can secure a taxpayer-funded plane ticket and receive a temporary ID.
I'm in the system. That's my number. And they gave me this. They had me sign it, and I was about to get the medical exam.
This paper, sure.
Yeah, this is kind of like, I guess this is kind of like my temporary ID for here.
Is that a temporary ID?
I guess.
This is the temporary ID. What is this? This is the temporary ID. You see, written here, adulto, your name, if you are hombre o mujer, and this is just like handwritten, and this is your temporary ID. This is your temporary ID. What the fuck? This is insane. I remember the first time I saw this, that no, this cannot be happening. This cannot be real. But no, it is quite real. And this was before the elections. How do you expect people to find this? Not treason. This is treason. Make gallows great again. This is treason.
That a temporary ID.
I guess.
Get into the place. These temporary IDs are used to gain entrance into homeless migrant shelters, including at a place called Randall's Island.
Some music, and then
along the journey, I was looking for people with virtue, but it seemed around every corner was greed and graft and self-interest. I was filled with dread about what lay at the end of the Ward's Island Bridge, and yet there was a part of me that was looking for at least one glimmer of hope. Someone, anybody who had an ounce of integrity left inside them. But I would need to be punched in the gut a few more times. So this is where they end up right here. This footbridge right here takes you over to Randall's Island, where thousands of illegal migrants are currently housed. But right up here, you see the shelter and some workers there through the green fence. Hey, guys. What is going on in there?
he was speaking. What are you doing there? What are you doing there?
Shelter.
A shelter for who? Homeless migrants? Am I allowed to just go in there as an American citizen and get a bed?
You just got it. Say our first day, bro. Gotta go around.
They're taking a
What the F?
We're just taking a walk.
No. I literally saw you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. What the f am I doing? I'm taking a walk. Why would you curse at me like that? What the f am I doing?
What are you doing?
Why do you curse at me like that? Like what the F are you doing?
What are you doing?
Where are you?
I'm a citizen taking a walk through the soccer park.
Citizen trying to trespass.
How is it trespassing? I'm just on the side. How so?
What's that?
Hello. The NYPD are fans of ours, but they too aren't doing anything about the problems. Hey guys, how you doing?
How are you?
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Yeah,
Investigations?
we're looking around here. Yeah.
What are you doing, man?
Tent City.
How many people are in there?
About 4,000. They just come in and take advantage. Live off the fat.
Live off the what?
Live off the fat.
What does that mean? Like,
Well, like live off the fat of what the U.S. has to offer.
There's a guy like just smoking crack right there.
This is just, yeah, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense how this works. Yeah, it's like I it's the insanity of this. I cannot understand the mental process of saying, hey, you know what? Let's use $2.3 billion to give away to people who have entered the country illegally for housing and shelter and food and flights and yeah, because F you. That's why. That's disgusting, Foxfield Farmer. That is disgusting. That is absolutely on point. This is a thing that we need to push against. We have to push against this, and we have to make sure that only the people that are worth it. This is in any country. In any country, every country needs people, needs brains, needs hard-working people, but by the usual legal means and legal ways. That would be just perfect if it was just respected. But what's going on in the world? Let's see, when Donald Trump takes office, let's see how the world reacts to that. Let's see what Tom Homan can actually do about this, how the mass deportations work, and maybe they can find a way to do it so seamlessly, starting with the criminals, which is the most important part. The ones that not only are criminals because they entered the country illegally, but also they have committed crimes or they were convicted of crimes before entering the United States, which is crazy enough. Let's see how it goes, and let's see if that helps heal the insanity of the world. Although I wouldn't hold my breath for countries like Germany, for example, because, well, they are way too deep into the insanity of getting invaded on purpose. But I would love to know what do you think about this in the comments. And today's live chat has been just amazing. And let me see. That for today. That is for today. Great show. My body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. And until we meet on another video, another live stream, maybe this weekend, most probably I would make maybe tomorrow or maybe on Sunday I will make a live stream, because you know that I love this. Spend some time with you, read your comments, have this interaction, have this great time. It's just like play for me, so I cannot wait until Monday for this. But make sure, take care, be safe. Remember the most important words: much love and bliss. Take care, be safe, and remember that I love every single one of you. Bye-bye.